Hello?
Wait, hold on. Do you hear me, mate?
How you bro? You right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry, I was just struggling a bit. You good, man?
Yeah, I'm not too bad yourself, man. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, man.
Yeah, all right.
Just want to
Listen,
say,
mate.
man, I
Yeah,
appreciate you so much for coming on. I know
it's a pleasure, my
been
guy.
difficult.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
interacting for quite a while, so it's just
Mm.
normal, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. I've been watching you for a while, ever since I come onto Twitter, and
Yeah.
you know what? One thing I liked about what you do is that you have your opinion, and your opinions are intelligent as well, you
Thank you,
know,
man. I appreciate
and
that.
that's one
Appreciate
thing that I've kind of recognize with yourself, like I think
You
what I
think
find a
about
lot
it.
on yeah, I mean what I find a lot on Twitter is because obviously I'm a football mad person and I like having, normal conversations, but I've kind of realized you're not really gonna get that,
Nah,
so yeah,
exactly.
yeah, man. So but yeah, no, I appreciate man for coming on. What I wanted to talk to you about really, is just your obviously your background, what kind of led you to coming onto Twitter. And then obviously I want to branch off into the future of Man United. Erik Ten Hag. What's your thoughts on that? And then also, obviously, it's been news today about Bruno Fernandes
Yeah.
potentially going. I can see you're smiling because we've got the same
Yeah,
opinion.
you're
Yeah,
smiling too, yeah.
yeah. And then lastly, if you've got any questions for myself, so yeah, man, I'll let you take it away. Um, a bit about yourself, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just from like overall background, maybe you mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just it's a tough question. It's not a tough question, but it's a weird one because I'm not
Mm,
supposed to be a football fan. Like though, if you knew where I grew up in. I was born in Montreal. I'm from Canada, but my parents
okay.
are from Morocco. They came
Yeah.
from Morocco in '89, I think, to
Okay.
Quebec. I was born in Montreal, and then I grew up in Chicoutimi, which is a very very small town, like 500 kilometers north of Montreal. Like no one speaks English, no one speaks Arabic, no one
Mm,
speaks. It's French, and it's not even
okay.
like classic French. Like it's like French from Quebec. Like it's our own thing
Okay.
here. And so French is my first language. Arabic is
Okay.
my second. English is my third. So sometimes I struggle with words or I stutter a bit. So that's mostly that's
Mm.
mostly that's
There's a bit of a mixture there, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Like English, I'm getting more and more comfortable with English for, of course, with school and everything. And my dad is
Yeah.
pretty much to English culture, but French is
Mm.
my first language mostly.
Okay.
And grew up grew up in Chicoutimi is weird because like no Arabic family, no Muslim families, no nothing. So we were like the four of us, my parents and my brother Adil. Maybe
Mm.
maybe you know Adil is on Twitter as well. He's friends with the other guys
Yeah,
as well.
do you know what? I think I might have come up. What's his name?
Adil, Adil,
Yeah, I've come across his name before. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's my bro. So, and if you want a
Okay.
football chat, maybe he's the guy because most of what I know I learned from him. So he's my younger
Okay.
brother as well. So, but he's
Yeah.
a proper football brain. So I can't
Mm.
I can't praise him enough for that. And football has always been there, but it's mostly my dad, to be fair. Like my dad from Casablanca, Morocco,
Okay.
and like when he was 6 or 7, I don't know, United player George Best won the. Is it Sir George Best or Sir Bobby Charlton that won the Ballon d'Or? 68, I think it was Sir Bobby.
Yeah, I think it might. Was it after the World Cup, the '66
Yeah,
World
after the
Cup.
World Cup.
Yeah,
After the World
might have
Cup. So
been.
it must be
Mm.
Sir Bobby, yeah. And like it just struck him, someone went so good that it would give him a ball made out of gold. So he just when you're a child, it just oh
Yeah.
yeah, this guy is that good that they made
Mm.
a ball out of gold for him. So it stuck with them ever since. And so
Ever
we grew
since.
up as United fans, exactly. So
Cool.
after it's just like I'm 29, I was born in 95, so I've
Mm.
seen good United. Like I've been blessed. Like of course I was quite young, and
Mm.
99 is probably my earliest memory.
Okay.
And but like until 2013, we've seen it all. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it's just I remember the good days. I remember good players. I know this is why I can't be impressed by someone like Bruno because I've seen ballers before. It just memory is a memory is a thing.
Yeah.
I can't really put.
Honestly, man, we're singing from the same hymn sheet. It's because I say I watch yourself, I watch Rants, I watch Flawless.
Yeah, yeah,
Aaron. Obviously, they were the original guys that I watched. Obviously, on the other channel.
yeah. Same.
And these guys, you know what I mean? We're singing from the same hymn sheet in the sense of we've seen players of the past. And even like when I hear the praise that for instance someone like a Rasmus Højlund gets, who I don't rate at all. I
Yeah,
look at Giuseppe Rossi, who used to be part of Man United's under-23 squad, reserve team at the time. And
Yeah.
that was a player that had a lot of injuries. And when I see players like that, I can't respect players like Ahoyman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
hear it.
this is my thing. So I find it very hard to kind of get with players, especially in this era. You know, there's loads of players that I just can't relate to, who I don't rate, that the majority of people rate.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I said, that's why I followed you guys, because you guys you just say it how it is, you know, and you don't care about the traction that you get back from it.
Exactly, because
Mm,
it's mostly about honesty. Like if, like for example, all of the guys you
mm,
mentioned, Rand, Saeed, Flawless, Aaron, I get along with all of those guys, top people as well. And I've
yeah.
met with some of them. So,
Mm.
and for example, and there's Ricky also from the Rick the
Ah,
Red.
he's
Ricky's
a
a
real
real guy.
one.
He's a
Yeah,
real
yeah,
one. And I agree
yeah.
with Ricky on most things, but there are things I don't agree with Rick. Not many things to be fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't bug me, doesn't annoy me because I know Rick is being honest. Like
Mm,
he
mm,
thinks something and he could be right and I could be wrong. This is the way I see
yeah.
it. But because I could be wrong, that's fair enough. Like maybe
McTominay comes to mind. Yeah,
someone Lindelof, for example, and even
yeah.
then and what I like about him, what he says about McTominay, is not that he rates him. It's like he thinks the
Mm,
criticism is over the top, and you say, you know what, maybe that's fair.
yeah.
Maybe that's fair. I don't
Mm,
rate McTominay, and I don't think he rates McTominay that highly. Maybe he has, maybe he likes me
yeah.
more than I do. That's for sure.
Mm.
But as long as
Maybe he probably identifies his uses to the team, and then
exactly,
it might get seen as a bit over the top. You know what I mean? But yeah,
exactly.
he's got his own opinion. I mean, I don't agree with the McTominay thing, but at least he kind of sticks with it and doesn't care who tries to shoot him down. I suppose, you know.
Exactly. And if he sees something that changes his mind, he'll just admit it. Like he's not
Mm,
stubborn on that. This is what I like about because the people you mentioned, one thing I think we all share is honesty. Like
yeah.
just say it as it is. Like you can insult me, you can wait, just fine. I
Mm,
really don't mind to be fair. Because like I told you, I'm from Quebec. I
mm,
speak like English is my third language. I'm doing my PhD in psychology. I have so many other things in life that someone with a Rashford like picture
yeah.
profile singing me shit is not going to bother me that much to be
Yeah,
just because I say
you
it as
know,
it is.
when I see the picture profiles, because what I do, like a lot of the stuff that I see on Twitter, I think I'm someone that if I strongly disagree with what someone said, part of me thinks, you know what, just leave it. But I have to, you know, get my comment in, and then when you get the response back, you see a picture like an Avi account, and you just think,
Yeah,
yeah, there's no point even conversating because you're not gonna get nowhere, you know?
exactly. Because look, like, there are some players that I don't rate that highly, but I don't mind
Yeah,
in our squad. But if I get someone talk shit with the picture of Garnacho wearing a crown, like what is there to do, man? Like, okay, fine,
yeah,
whatever. I'm not going to engage in that because maybe it's
mm,
just it is what it is. It is
yeah,
what it is. My thing is honesty, mostly truth. Just say what you feel. And people,
yeah,
if you feel a certain type of way, there are people
mm,
that will feel the same way or
yeah,
agree with. Or maybe you're not articulate enough to put your point across, but you come from a
mm,
good place. Someone else will do it for you. Maybe
yeah,
sometimes you see things that it doesn't make sense to you, but someone else will come and say why you are looking at this. It happened all the time. Why
yeah,
can City play with a deep midfielder and the other teams can't? Why?
mm,
Things that people say and see, but they can't explain it. Maybe because they don't have enough football people around them. Maybe they don't watch enough games. Maybe they don't dedicate enough time to the game as most as other people do.
yeah,
Just say it as it is, how you
mm,
see it, and you will find
mm,
someone to agree or at least help you. It's fine.
yeah.
It's not a big deal to be fair.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
weird world we live in it. Weird world.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's more important things going on, but we're
Yeah,
just people with our opinions, and as I said, yeah, like we stick with our opinion, and that's enough, I suppose, you know.
exactly,
So
man.
yeah,
Exactly.
but what I wanted to ask you as well, because obviously, again, we've probably got the same opinion in regards to Ten Hag.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you see for Man United's future, and what's your take on Erik Ten Hag? And then I'll give you my opinion on him as well. Yeah, probably very
I
similar.
mean, on
Mm,
Ten Hag, I don't think he's as useless as a coach as we've seen.
mm,
I want him gone, and the sooner the better. To be fair,
yeah,
because there are things in his like. Of course, I don't know him personally, so it's all hypothetical. But still, there are things in
mm,
his personality, things in the way he behaves.
yeah,
I'm the type of guy to look at patterns. Usually, patterns tend to tell a lot. If you fall out with Varane, if you fall out with Casemiro, if you fall out with Sancho, if you fall out with Sancho, if you fall out with players at Ajax, if you
yeah,
have with Cristiano, it's like, especially the Varane and Casemiro thing. I'm like, yo, those two guys, they
They don't
don't
fall out
beef.
with many people. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. They don't fall out. So,
Mm.
and the decision, I think he sold his soul quite early in the season. I think
Yeah.
he wanted to appease a certain section of either the media or the British fan base by playing players that are going to give him like credit in the bank, so called, even though because you
Yeah.
don't, no one can tell me, look, I'm not Anthony's biggest fan, but
Mm.
Anthony, ever since the legal case, has been better than both Rashford and Garnacho, and he should have
Yeah.
played
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
If you
Mm.
don't, how on earth has he not played Ahmad is beyond belief.
Mm.
Ahmad just he's not game fit, and he's been clear of everyone on the pitch for both sides.
Yeah.
Him a run of games in a good team, and I think we have someone very, very good there, like very, very good. How
Mm.
ha Amrabat, people criticize Amrabat. Amrabat has been very, very useful, and he should have
Yeah.
played more. And look, people say Casemiro is better than Amrabat. If you are willing to play with the ball, I think Amrabat is better suited for that. I think they have
Uh,
different skill sets.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
is better than the other. I think Amrabat would have been more useful. If you
Mm.
spend 60 million on Mason Mount, but you make Bruno Coutin, and they are basically the same guy, I think I probably prefer Mount to Bruno. I'm just like,
Yeah. But
what's
I think with them two, you're kind of arguing over both bits of shit, really, because I don't really rate either one of them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
it reminds me of Pereira against Lingard. Like every time I watch Pereira
Yeah.
play, I thought Lingard was better, and every time I watch, I thought the other one was better.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just
And the funny thing is, I think I'd probably rather have Pereira and Lingard in that 10 than Bruno or Mount. That's how bad it is for me.
that's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. Like I would think
Yeah.
about like I really don't like Lingard, to be fair. He does my head in.
Yeah. But
But
I think with Lingard, I think you kind of knew what he was about. I mean, he's not my type of player, but I suppose the time he was playing, he wasn't really getting the output as what a lot of these fans kind of look at. And then Bruno for them is the kind of this of the savior. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
But
no, I totally agree with you, man. I think for me, the reason why, like, obviously, hopefully we hear something tomorrow. But for me,
yeah,
I think Ten Hag, the main thing that I like about Ten Hag, as you mentioned as well, about he come in with a certain philosophy, and he's kind of deviated away from that to appease the fan base, I believe. But for me, I just can't take the certain players that he consistently plays. Obviously, I've done a stream before, and I've mentioned Garnacho, Oyland, Rashford, Bruno. For me, those four are the four biggest problems of the team. Because they're either adored by the fan base, but in terms of
usually that's a
football,
bad sign, isn't it?
huh?
Usually that's a bad sign when they're adored by the fan base.
Well, yeah, yeah, because a lot of the fan base don't really know what they're looking for, and the fact that these four players seem to be made like the core of the team, for me, I'm not surprised United have been struggling for as long as they have. Someone like an Ahmad who's a pure footballer, the fact that Ahmad can't get on that pitch ahead of the likes of a Garnacho, and we know why Garnacho plays, shirt sales, the fan base think he's the next coming of Ronaldo, and
Okay.
Ahmad is suffering in that sense. So that's why I don't respect Ten Hag for that, because any logical manager would look at the two skill sets of Ahmad and Garnacho.
Not
I
even
know they're
close.
playing obviously opposite wings, but you can see who the better footballer is, and I think football will always prevail in the end.
Exactly.
And
It's not even
mm,
close.
yeah,
I, the problem, he played Garnacho there because he knows people want to play Rashford, or Rashford has to play. So at the end of the day,
yeah,
it's Ahmad and Anthony and
yeah,
Sancho that are taking the hit. But that's
yeah,
a disgrace. That means you're putting like you have a higher agenda than the team
mm,
playing well. And the moment you start to have another purpose than coaching the team,
yeah,
sorry, mate. Can't have that. Can't have that.
yeah. What who do you prefer out of Rashford and Garnacho?
Why, bro?
It's tough, isn't it?
Exactly. I'm so done with Rashford. I'm
Mm,
so done with Rashford that sometimes it's not even the talent. It's
attitude.
everything around him.
Mm,
It's everything around him. Like how people feel sorry for him, how he feels sorry for himself, how he's overprotected, how he doesn't take accountability, how he's never earned anything so far in the United career, and everything's been given to him, and no one is there to tell him the truth.
yeah,
I like Garnacho more because I still have more patience because Garnacho is 1 year and a half in,
yeah,
while Rashford has been 8, almost 9.
Mm,
It's
mm,
just a matter of patience, to be fair. But I
yeah,
think I think Garnacho's regressing. I think Ten Hag is not doing him any good. I think he was better
yeah.
when we first saw him than he is now.
As
Just like
an impact sub.
exactly, I don't think
Mm,
he's been used properly. I think
yeah,
he's still. I think he's weak still. I don't like his physicality. He's strong. Like he's
yeah,
probably the same height as Ahmad, but Ahmad is much stronger, and
yeah, yeah.
Anthony is much stronger, and other players like
Mm.
Bernardo's, and I think he's. But I don't mind Garnacho. Like I would keep if I have to sell one, I'm selling Rashford.
You
I'm
said
not thinking.
Rashford, yeah.
I'm not
Mm.
saying. And I think
I th-
Garnacho could be a useful player. Like he grows,
mm.
gets stronger, but I don't think he's generational. I don't think he's great. Like people are making this. Nah,
Yeah, he's nowhere near it, man. Nowhere near it.
nah.
You know.
We had Nani on the bench, so like, what
Yeah,
are we doing?
that's the yeah, that's the level. You know what I mean? No, I agree. I think just going back to what you said about his physicality, I think he's not an intelligent player because if you look at Ahmad and the way Ahmad uses his body, you know, obviously people will know that you put your body to in the middle, ball to the side, you know, and it's not so much about how strong you are, it's knowing how to maneuver with the
Yeah,
ball
there's
and your
also that.
body. And I think if you look at Garnacho, Hoyland does it a bit, Rashford as well. A lot of them are just not very, very intelligent footballers. And I think if Man United are trying to get back to, to where they should be, there's no way for me that the likes of those three can be the core of the team. So yeah, I mean, I would move Rashford on, but as we know, he's got a new contract. It's going to be difficult to kind of do that.
Ah,
But
that's massive.
yeah, but I think in terms of the starting 11, for me, I mean, I've banged on about Eze. I think Eze is a crucial signing because what Glasner has shown with Eze as well is Eze can play from the left and play in the 10.
Yeah,
So obviously, whether they want to try and go for him, but I think he'd be an ideal signing for United if that means you can move on a Rashford. You know, I mean,
yeah.
I'd bring Sancho straight back. You know, there should be no debate about that.
No,
Yeah,
easy, easy. He's our
yeah,
best winger. He's
yeah,
our best. It's not even really close. And maybe
mm,
Ahmad in the future, but
yeah,
Sancho, Sancho is clear. Well, you know what? This is the problem, like with Eze and a guy like Elise and that.
mm,
A talented, like a very gifted, talented flair player that is
yeah,
not from the academy will be lazy and like will think that he's too big for the club in 6 months because we've
yeah,
seen it. We've
yeah,
seen
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's a running pattern there. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly, exactly. Oh,
yeah,
he's lazy. In 6 months, he will be lazy. In
yeah.
6 months, he will think he's bigger than the club. Like we know
Mm.
how it's going.
But you know what it is? What I don't like, especially with this generation of football, is that Sancho, as we know, he's more of a number 10 playing out wide. Yeah. And what a lot of fans do, they try to base a winger. I'll give you an example. Jeremy Doku. Yeah.
Yeah,
So a lot of these fans will try to base Sancho's game on Doku because Doku, just like Garnacho as well, they show intent when they're running with the ball. But that's not Sancho's game. He's more of a creator. Whereas these guys want to get the ball and just run straight through. And more of the time they're running into no man's land, you know?
yeah,
But
exactly.
fans seem to want to base Sancho's game on Doku or Garnacho, you know. But patience, is key. Not every time you got to keep beating your man, or
Exactly.
there's ways to
Exactly.
play. Mm.
Exactly, 100%. Like Ricky
Yeah.
said, like if you do only forward passes, you'll run out of pitch.
Yeah, yeah,
That's basically it. You
yeah.
need to scan. Like yeah, I 100% agree. And I think the number 10
Mm.
thing is, I think it needs to be like reconceptualized, to be fair, because I think the number 10
Mm.
is the player in charge of creation, regardless of where he plays.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you can have someone on the left that doesn't have the number 10 and that he is the number 10, like a
yeah,
Sancho,
yeah.
like Neymar, like Eden Hazard, for example.
Mm.
You can have someone in the 10, like Bruno, that is not the 10. The
Mm.
10 could be someone else because it doesn't have to be a specific position on the pitch. So that's why I agree with you when you said he's like a number 10 playing out wide.
Why do? I'm
That's
Ahmad's the same as well.
exactly. And those
Yeah,
are like those are footballers. They
yeah, yeah,
think football. They think they have a good understanding of how the game is and how the game should be played. And this is the
yeah.
problem I have with the others. Like their
Mm.
understanding of the game is wrong. You need to shoot, you need to cut in, you need to no, hold on. You need to pace yourself. You need to
Mm.
look for a red shirt and pick a pass, control it, create space. Those are things like the patience. It's just, when you play football with someone that has never played, like in school, for example, like back then, and they
Yeah.
don't understand the concept of making a pass if they are not under pressure.
Mm.
That's basically like United, like
Yeah.
just make it, make the ball go around, make it yeah, but I'm not under pressure. Just make a pass, mate. Just
Mm,
just let the ball move, make it move a bit, and you
yeah.
create things will
But,
happen.
but but again, that's a problem with the team itself, because
Yeah,
I think obviously, as we're going to move on to now, certain Bruno Fernandes, he's been made the go-to guy in a sense, and for me, I think he's one of the main reasons for the poor football that Man United play. For a start, he's not a number 10. We had number 10s of the past, like a Del Piero, like a Totti, a Riquelme, Pablo Aimar, Ronaldinho,
proper
and
players.
proper players. And now we've got to settle for Bruno. And then all people will tell you about Bruno is that he's chance creation. But what they don't tell you is that his chance creation comes from if he takes a corner, if someone gets the head to the ball, that counts as a chance creation.
Yeah.
All these miscued stats really. Um, I mean, when I see that, he's been linked with, even though I don't know if I believe it, Barcelona and Bayern Munich.
I don't believe it. That's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, but when I did see it, I was quite happy, because it tells me that Ineos, they must be looking at him to possibly move on, and I think that would be the best for the best for
Everyone.
the club, for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your take
Like
on that? Mm.
it would do so much good for my health, man, because I think we work too hard. We work too hard to see Bruno. Like, you know what? There are very few things in life that embarrass me as much as Bruno and Rashford being the face of our club.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
I
I
really
agree.
don't cope. I don't cope well with that. Like,
Mm,
because I grew up, like I told you, like in Quebec when United was huge,
mm,
and people know that I'm a United fan, like all my friends from, and they know that we've been like
yeah.
I've been
Is there
arrogant
like
all my
is
life.
there like a massive following in Manchester, in
Well, not really, not
sorry.
really, but
Mm,
you could see like growing up, you could see United shirts, you could
yeah.
see few Liverpool shirts,
Arsenal.
and you could see yeah, Arsenal a bit, and
Mm,
Barcelona, Madrid, AC Milan, mostly
okay.
those are like
Yeah.
the big clubs.
Mm,
Now you can see City shirts where I live. I don't like it too much, man. You
yeah,
can see
yeah, yeah.
SG as well and stuff like that. And
Mm,
but mostly like growing up, everyone knew I loved United, even though they were not football fans, and they knew
mm,
we were good.
yeah.
And now my friends growing now as we are getting older, many of my friends that weren't football fans like 15 years ago are United football fans more and more. So I have a lot of my friends that follow football now.
Mm,
And you know what? The other day I have one of my good friends, football fan as well, and he supports Marseille in France. Like he's new to football, like you could say the last 7 to 8 years or something
okay.
like that.
Mm,
And we were playing against Aston Villa this season, like a few months back, and he said, and we won that game. And he said, "Yo, United won, you massive upset. How do you feel?" And you know what? That massive upset, it just like it kept echoing in my. How can we be underdogs against Villa? But
yeah,
that's the truth
yeah.
of the matter. You know, I kept bringing underdogs, underdogs.
Mm,
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this is. And why is that? Because we lost ourselves. We lost our ways. We don't
yeah.
know a good player from a shit one. We think Bruno is a savior. We think Rashford is this and that. We think
Mm.
Ten Hag. We had fans writing letters to Ineos. Like this is basically like fan mail. Like this is like a 14-year-old writing to Drake. There's no difference to that. It's the same thing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, when I see all that, I just thought it's getting desperate now, and obviously, for me, Ineos made the decision a long time ago.
I think
If people can't see that, then I don't know, because if you're gonna come into as a new regime, you're gonna want your own man. And although Ten Hag did win the FA Cup, I mean, we can't really say that's enough for him to keep his job after what we've been putting up with for the whole season, you know.
no.
And then you hear about the injuries, and it's non-stop really. But um, yeah, I agree, man. What you're saying, it's like the fact that Bruno and Rashford are the face of the club and have been
Embarrassing.
for years.
And you know
Um,
what? The moment Bruno came into United and Rashford has become as important,
yeah,
which is the Ole from the moment Ole got into the got as the manager. It's our worst period. Like because now it's been 10 years since Alex Ferguson retired. 11 years, you could say.
mm,
I think out of that 10 years, the five last have been the worst.
yeah,
And the last 5 years are the period when Bruno and Rashford has been undroppable.
yeah,
And you know
yeah,
we like the best creator in Europe. You know the simple fact that we are able to measure creativity is
mm,
is a nonsense in itself, because creativity by definition cannot be measured. You
mm,
cannot have a scale for creativity by definition, because it's creativity. How can you scale and you judge the creativity on a painting? There is no scale for that. There's no questionnaire for that.
mm,
Because
mm.
I study psychology, I'm quite familiar with measuring scales and standardized procedures. Creativity is something that is very hard to measure, and you can see a very, very small pass from someone like David Silva in between the lines that
Yeah,
will not lead to a goal that is 10 times more creative than what Bruno will do in 3 months.
yeah.
You can't judge and you can't compare.
Mm,
And this is the thing. Like we think we won't do well without him. And
yeah.
this is embarrassing. That means we accepted mediocrity and we forgot who we are. We are Manchester United.
Mm,
Like Scholes retired, Beck's left,
mm,
Carrick retired, Rooney left, and I'm going to cry about Ronaldo, man.
yeah.
It can't no. And the thing with Bruno as well is not that's not Hazard, for example.
Yeah,
You can say
yeah,
someone that is, you know what, I mean, he's not top five of all time, let's say, but
yeah.
bro, of the last
But
20 years,
he's a match winner. Yeah.
yeah, of the last 20, 30 years, we've seen very few players like Eden Hazard, for example.
Oh,
That's
top player, man. Yeah.
top, top, top. And it's not even that. Like every time we play against, anytime we play, and Bruno
Mm,
looks worse than the other team's number 10.
yeah.
Like
100%.
all the
Yeah.
time. Ross Barkley, Pereira, any other, all of the
Mm,
other number 10s look better than him. And it's
yeah.
like, okay. And another thing, I was speaking with Ricky about this and with my
Mm,
brother. We removed right back. We removed the center backs. The only thing that haven't right wing, left wing, strikers, the midfield, everything has changed. But Rashford, Bruno,
and
Lin,
Bruno.
and Shaw,
Yeah.
everything else has changed.
The thing
Like
is, I wouldn't really include Lindelof in there because for me, I've never really saw Lindelof as a starting player. I think he's more for the squad. I think with him, because he's not really on a big wage, he's not really I mean, I'd move him on, but he's more someone that if you don't see him play as much and he's going to be cover, maybe FA Cup, Carabao Cup, fair enough. But I think the likes of Shaw, Rashford, and Bruno, a lot of it is, Rashford's homegrown. Obviously, Luke
Bruno,
Shaw's English, and
uh,
Bruno, in a sense,
the
because
best
they
midfielder
tried
ever.
their best to replace Pogba, replace Pogba with Bruno, basically. This is why Bruno is getting let off, and
Yeah,
it's a massive problem for me because yeah, they've been the main constants in the team, and then
exactly.
people were surprised as to why the team are continuously failing. You know?
Shocking. Okay, exactly.
Yeah,
Because look, ever since Bruno signed, we've like there's one season we scored a lot of goals, but that's the season Martial played.
yeah, yeah.
And if Martial's not playing, we're not scoring. And I don't know how people don't see it. It's so
They
obvious.
they don't want to see it. That's what it
They
is.
don't want to say exactly like this
Yeah.
willful blindness to this. But
Mm,
if Marcel's not playing, we average about 55 to 60 goals, which is poor for United. Very, very poor. And in
mm,
that time, we had Ronaldo, we had Cavani, we had Martial, we had Greenwood, we had Weghorst, we had Igalo, we had Hoyland. We had many, many different types of
Oh yeah,
striker, and some of
Cavani was there.
Cavani as well, and
Yeah.
some of them top class. So the problem is not the striker or the profile of striker. The problem is the rest. How can you have the best creator in Europe and have that many type of strikers? And some of them like Ronaldo and Cavani and Lukaku and Martial
Mm,
and Rashford and everyone, and we are still not scoring.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like, well, maybe connect the dots, maybe change, try without him, maybe try without him, and let's see.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds it
Logical, isn't
sounds
it?
uh it sounds complicated, but it's just simple. You just
It's
take the
simple.
guy out, and then you'll see the team thrive. Because when you're trying to play through Bruno, it's a problem because he's not someone you play through. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
like when you play through a number 10, if you look at Arsenal, you play through Odegaard because Odegaard is a technician. He can get in between the lines and create. Bruno, what he does as well, he's heavily relying on Rashford because of the ball over the top.
Exactly.
He needs winning runners, and Hoyland and Garnacho, in a sense, fit for Bruno because they're gonna just run. But as we've seen, that way of playing is not working. So
It's not
this is
working.
why I'm just hoping. I want a De Zerbi. My top choice was Zidane, but it's a long shot with him because he needs the team to be ready.
Yeah, I
But
don't think it would work here.
Yeah, but De Zerbi for me, in terms of what's available, I trust him to play the right way from what I've seen, and I believe that the likes of the ones that we keep seeing constantly in the team, I'm just optimistic, you know, that they will get replaced for better technicians in the team. So that's what I'm kind of hoping. But yeah, it's a massive problem, man, having Bruno Fernandes as a number 10 in that team. And on top of, obviously, as you said, he signed Mason Mount as well, who's been injured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shocking.
what's going to happen with Mount? I don't know because
Because
yeah,
if going back to Ten Hag, if your plan was to buy Mason Mount to play him next to Bruno, two number eights, and Casemiro deep, that means you've never watched Casemiro play football in your life. That means you've just
yeah,
heard of him.
yeah.
Because like I've been saying it, I was against the Casemiro signing when we because at first I
Oh,
was
was you?
backing, yeah, because I was all in for Ten Hag. I was like, you know what? Finally, some Dutch football possession. I'm like, okay,
Same,
fine.
same. Yeah.
I was excited about it, and I said, if he wants to play with someone deep in midfield,
Mm.
Casemiro, and we've been linked to Frankie De Jong all summer that summer.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't go from De Jong to Casemiro. And you can't
Yeah,
tell me that then you try to build from the back with Casemiro there because you're playing into the player's weaknesses. Like Casemiro has very good strength. Like you don't
yeah.
get to achieve everything he's done if you're useless.
Mm.
But if you expose his weaknesses, he will look worse than he is. And this is
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
he's doing. Exactly. And if
yeah,
you play the players in his right position with the right people, you will
yeah,
only see good aspects. And then you see like a player will look better than he is. But that's
yeah.
the manager's job. That's the manager's job. And
But
if you want
yeah,
there and Mount and Casemiro behind. That's a shocking setup. What are you doing?
yeah. It's too gung ho in that midfield. Yeah.
You
Mm.
you don't counter press with a deep six. Usually
Mm.
it's a flat three. If you go look at the Liverpool sides of the last 5 years, for example, with the
Yeah.
Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Milner, for example, whatever, it's not one deep midfielder. They are all at the same level, and the front
Same.
three is
Yeah, yeah,
up,
yeah.
and they press high as a unit. But
Mm.
you don't have a Busquets or a Verratti or someone or a Pirlo deep or a
Yeah.
Jorginho. This is not how they set up. It's a
Mm.
different type of 4-3-3. And now
And
Casemiro there.
even Fabinho as well, who was the deepest one, he was even pressing as well. So
Exactly. He was very high.
yeah.
He's very, very high. And his
Mm.
Fabinho is a good destructive player, but he's not like a proper regista type of player. He's not
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like,
Mm.
how can I see this? And this guy is getting paid the money I'm not getting paid.
Yeah. The thing with Casemiro is like it's true. You've gone from a different profile of player from De Jong to Casemiro. And the things with Casemiro, it's like he played with Tony Cruz and Luka Modric, two players who want to pick up the ball from deep from the defense.
Two
Man
artists.
United haven't got that player, and you're expecting Casemiro to go and do that. You know,
Exactly.
it's ludicrous, man. Yeah.
Cruz and Modric made Casemiro look better, and he made them look better as well by doing
Yes, yes,
that type of
yes,
job. So it was a
yes.
good harmony in there.
Mm.
Now it just every time I look at someone, like for example, the camera I'm watching on TV, every time I look at Dalo, Bruno is there. Every time I look at Hoyland, Bruno is there. Every time I look at Evans, Bruno is there. I'm like, what
Yeah.
this guy's doing, man? How can we have a shape? And look,
Mm.
football is because the thing is, football, the whole is bigger than the sum of its parts. You can't if you have 11 players, you can't add 11 players. This is why lesser team with lesser talents will do better if they are well coached than a
Coach, yeah,
team of quality.
yeah, yeah,
The thing,
yeah.
if you have someone like Bruno that is very disruptive, that's 1/10. So that's a lot. That's 10% of
Mm.
the outfield player that you cannot predict. And I spoke about that with Saeed many times on the show as well. And
Mm.
if you have Rashford, you can't predict. That's 20% now. 20% of unpredictability is too much.
Yeah,
Add on
yeah,
after
yeah,
that, for example, McTominay, Casemiro, Dalot at times. I like Dalot to be fair. He's more predictable, but Dalot at times, Garnacho, very, very unpredictable. Now you have almost the
half the
moment you
team. Mm.
exactly half the team. The moment you reach 50%, it's luck. So it's no
Yeah.
surprise that you can't have a style of play and identity if everything is so random. Because
Mm.
50% is it's like you throw what's the expression with a coin? Like just flip a coin.
Yeah.
You have 50% of chances of
Of,
having this.
of landing on your finger. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 50%, 50% is not good. And in science and when you do in studies, if something is below 50%, you can't attribute that to an effect. You have to say
Mm.
maybe it's luck because there's one chance out of two. And this is what we have now. You can't predict anything with this team. So maybe like I was, and again, I was talking about that with my dad, when my brother and Ricky as well.
Mm.
We need more players that quote unquote do nothing. Like the players that don't do much because people don't want to look at football. They want football to look at them. Oh, but what
Yeah,
does he
yeah.
what do you mean? What does he do? Playing football, make passes, move, and something good will happen.
Mm.
Just be focused. But
Yeah.
it's a very childish way of looking at football.
Mm.
They want to
True.
see the highlight. We're like, yeah, but nah, that's not how it works.
Yeah, yeah. I think you get a lot of that now, especially with a lot of. I think the biggest problem with Man United is the local fan base, because as we say, like they latch onto players that are actually a detriment to the team, and
Yeah,
until they realize what they're actually looking for, they're gonna be praising the wrong players consistently,
100%.
and yeah, I mean, who would you like to see replace Bruno in that 10, or would you like to see the system change?
With the players we have, do you mean or
Yeah, so I mean, if there's a number 10 out there in world football, who would you like Man United to sign to replace Bruno, or would you just change the system to play in like a flat three?
That's a good question to be fair. Because I
Mm.
like 4-3-3. I like
Yeah,
deep.
same.
I like the Carricks, the Busquets, the Verrattis, the Jorginho. That's my type of player. The
Yeah,
Thiago
yeah,
Alcantara. Those are the
yeah.
players I like.
Top players, man. Top
Yeah.
players.
So
Mm.
maybe I like, you know what? I like the 4-4-2 diamond as well. When it's if you have a German gegen pressing player
Yeah.
manager, if we had Ragnick or Marco Rosa or Nagelsmann or Klopp
Mm.
even, a 4-4-2 is something I don't mind, but you need good fullbacks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very like, but I like possession. I like control. I'm not
Yeah.
someone like my personality is not erratic. I like have things. Uh, nothing more. Nothing I love more than a composed, under control 90 minutes 2-0 victory from start to finish. You bring in home. I love it.
Mm.
It's just so professional, so class. Just you get the job done.
Yeah.
Uh, Bruno, just replace him with anyone as far as I'm concerned. But
Yeah.
I like Florian Wirtz as well.
Oh,
I think
tough. He's someone that I want, but I don't see him coming not without Champions
exactly,
League football. He
exactly.
for me, I'll go as far as saying in terms of number tens, he's him and probably Musiala,
Yeah, less class.
but you're not getting Musiala. For me, they're,
Nah.
they're the best two tens out there at the moment. For
Yeah.
me, in
Yeah, yeah,
terms of their age profile and the dribbling, breaking the lines. I think they're the best two. But Musiala, you're not getting, and Bertz is
want to be
obviously
140 million.
Champions League, which is why I mentioned to you before about Eze. I think
Yeah,
Eze slept on. I think he's
yeah,
someone that should be signed for me.
yeah, it should be. Yeah, yeah, it should be considered.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Uh, you know
So
what?
whether you
That's a
change the
tough.
system,
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of 4-2-3-1. At the moment, I don't think we have a structure. To be fair, like his space a
yeah,
bit random, it's a bit chaotic, because
yeah,
I think Ten Hag is coaching them to do something, but the players he had decided to put his faith and his trust in are just they can't
not
follow.
good enough. Yeah,
That's not good enough. I
yeah,
like, you know what? I like back threes as well.
yeah,
I like back threes because I think there's a misconception that back three is defensive, pragmatic, and this and that. I think if you look at Leverkusen, for example, it's a back three, and
yeah,
look
yeah.
at
Tap Soba and
exactly, and if you look
yeah,
at possession
exactly.
football, even Pep and possession, it switched to a back three, and
Yeah.
the fullback comes up, and if you go look back at the Barcelona Madrid game 5-0 when Pep was at Barcelona, I think it's on YouTube. It's a game that I've watched many times, and my brother told me to watch it many times. If you
Mm.
look at the game, it's a back three, but it's in 2010 or 11. When was it? When Mourinho was at Barcelona. Was it?
What the back was it? Puyol, PK, and
Yeah, exactly. And
Abidal.
maybe Abidal, exactly. And
Yeah,
Daniel Alves. Alves was pushing to the right.
Alvarez was playing more of a winger, and Abidal was tucking in. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Messi was coming into the middle. I think
yeah.
David Villa, was it
David
Villa?
David Villa, yeah, and Pedro was on the right.
And Pedro exactly was moving to the left more. Everything
Mm.
and it became a back three.
Yeah,
So I would probably change the system, but I don't. I would wait for the manager. Like it's mostly the manager because I
yeah.
don't mind to be fair,
You
regardless of the
know,
position.
you know what I would say though, yeah, because yeah, I understand the back three. The only issue I think you're gonna have with playing the back three is that your width is gonna come from the wing backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means that you're gonna have to play with two number tens. Now, for me, Sancho and Ahmad play there all day, but it just means you need to have a stronger manager that wants to come in and disregard your wide men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 100%. I would. This is why you know what I've been leaning more towards like back threes and diamonds just because I don't rate our wingers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
We're
Sancho's
struggling
not
there.
there. Exactly.
Yeah,
Sancho's not there. Ahmad is not playing. So I was like, you know what? Just put two up top and
yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I get it.
uh,
I mean, I'm not personally, I'm not really a massive fan of the front two. You know, I think when I was growing up, front two was the in thing. But I
yeah,
think obviously you need to kind of control the midfield for me.
yeah.
But in the same sense, I think we're seeing a decline of strikers, really. You know,
It's okay.
and having your one man up front is kind of hard to. I
Difficult.
mean, who you gonna? You know what I mean, because I don't think Hoyland's gonna have to play as the man up front by himself.
Yeah, it's tough. And you know what?
Yeah,
If in a diamond, at least you have four midfielders in the front two, but you don't have wingers. So you
yeah,
need to have good fullbacks.
good fullbacks. Yeah,
The back three, if it's a 3-4-3, you can have one striker and two wingers, but you have two midfield players. And the
yeah.
midfield players are next to them, they have the wing back. So basically you have four midfield players, but
Mm.
like for example, it was Matic and Fabregas, for example, when Conte won the league. It was
Okay, yeah,
Matic,
yeah,
Fabregas, and then
yeah.
Hazard, Willian, and
Willian and then Costa,
Costa.
and then
And
I
the
think was Victor Moses the wing back.
Moses, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
who was it? On the left side. Can't remember his
Uh,
name.
good question. Who's on the left side?
I have his face with like I have his face in mind, but
Was
I
he
don't
was he
remember
left
his name.
was he left footed or is he?
Yeah, that's the Spanish guy that was a good shot on him.
Oh, Marcos Alonso.
Alonso, exactly. I
Yeah,
think he
yeah,
played there quite a bit.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And David Luiz. But the thing is, with that system, since you have two midfield players, he put David Luiz at the center of the defense, and David Luiz came in as a midfield player. So you basically
yeah,
have
yeah,
three
yeah.
midfielders. So if you
Mm,
want to play, maybe you put Lisandro there or someone that can play with the ball.
mm,
And if you don't, and if you look at for example, the back three that was played at Juventus, and they had the front two and two number eight, for example, and number six, then the two center half, the three center halves, they don't have to come in necessarily, like the one in the middle, because you have already three midfield players. Like when
mm.
Pogba with Vidal
Vidal
and
and Polo. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But they had the
Mm,
front two, so you need to pick. Well, I don't mind that, but I'd much rather go for. It
mm.
depends on the manager, to be fair, because I don't think the formation is that much of a problem if the manager has a clue what he's doing. At the
Yeah,
moment, we don't have that. Like,
we ain't. Yeah, it's just hope and yeah, just hope really, hope and wish like for the best.
exactly. Because with the
But
players
I
we
mean, I
have,
mean, from the current crop of players now, without no signings, I mean, what would you change the formation to that formation?
you know what, I'd probably go with
Yeah.
Sancho, Ahmad.
Mm.
Martial is not, it's not there now, so you have to go
Yeah,
Hoyland.
massive fan of Marshall. You know? Massive
Yeah, I love
fan.
him to bits. Love him to bits.
Yeah.
Quality
Mm.
player. Quality
Mm.
player. Let's suppose we go for a midfield,
Two.
3-4-3, for example. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Have Kobe and Amrabat or Maino, or Kobe or Amrabat and Casemiro. But Amrabat is probably leaving, so
Mm.
Casemiro and
Would you sign him?
Amrabat, I would sign him because I
Mm.
think with so many players that for 20 mil, we are going to need him because centre back
Yeah.
is a priority, midfield is a priority,
Yeah.
full backs are a priority as well, and striker. Like we need a striker and a centre half. That's 130 million almost gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can get someone like Amrabat, I'm a big fan of him as well because I think he's
Yeah.
been. You can get him for 20 million, and he can be very, very useful to have, and you don't have to spend that much money.
Yeah.
So
True. True.
it makes sense
Yeah.
because
I
you
think
want
he could be used as cover as well. So I
exactly
think
either
it'd be a
cover
smart piece of business. Yeah.
exactly. It would just be a small bit of business.
Mm.
I think he would improve with game time because we've seen him, and it's just we don't have that much money to spend, and we have some very, very pressing priorities like striker, defense,
Yeah.
midfield. We need at least two or three midfield because at the moment, if you look at the midfield options, it's Casemiro. Amrabat is leaving, but let's suppose Amrabat is leaving. You have Casemiro, Bruno, Mount, McTominay, Ericsson. We don't know if he's staying.
Mm. I think Ericsson's on a free, isn't he? He can go on a free Ericsson.
Again, I think so. And
Mm.
Kobe, that's shocking.
It's poor. Yeah, it's very poor.
Very
Yeah.
poor.
Yeah.
What's the best setup in there? It's probably people are going to tell you Mount, Bruno, Kobe, and Casemiro. That's dead.
Yeah. But you know the problem is as well now, yeah? Because I was doing a stream the other day and I was trying to think of central midfielders that are that you can get realistically. And you know
Yeah.
what? It come to Ross Barkley. And that's because he's on the free. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I know there's noise about João Neves, but he's going to cost a lot of money, and he's nine. Was he 19?
Yeah, I'm a bit fed up of the young players. I like men, to be fair. I like
Yeah,
them to be like to come in
be
26,
ready.
27, 28.
Mm,
You have men in your team, not like if I don't mind the kids, but
mm,
to be very good.
yeah, yeah,
Like Rooney at 18 was a man. It's different. Garnacho, Rashford at 26, 27
yeah,
is he a man? It's you
yeah.
can say he's a bit childish in his behavior. So
Very, very, yeah, very.
so that's you know
Yeah,
what that's a
it's a struggle. Yeah, it is a struggle because yeah, you need to get some senior pros in there. That's why I think the fact that Varane's going,
it's a disgrace to
and they're
my
trying to
FC.
move on Casemiro, they have to be if that is going to happen, they have to bring in someone that is regarded as one of the top players in Europe.
Go get
And
Hummels. Go get Hummels and replace Varane.
Hummels will be a good signing. Yeah, 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 that'd be good.
But it
Yeah,
wouldn't make any sense to get rid of Varane and get Hummels, to be fair, just because you're replacing one with the other. Just
yeah.
keep it.
But I think it'd be less money for Hummels though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
But then again, he's slow. So
Yeah, exactly. And he's not
mm,
as tall as well.
yeah,
I, I think I don't think he's as tall as Varane. But
uh,
exactly, I hear your point. It's you
mm.
know what, when like maybe a year back or two, we were linked to Ruben Neves before he went to Saudi. I
Oh
was
yeah,
I wanted him. I wanted him. I said, you
yeah,
know what? Get him because people want either a defensive player or an attacking player. Like, what happened to having good midfield players? Just midfield players.
yeah.
Someone that
Mm,
plays in the middle. Because Rodri,
mm.
people think Rodri is defensive. Rodri is not defensive. Rodri
He's
controls the
he's all
game.
round. He's all round.
He
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
good shot on him. He has a goal in him, but he's like disciplined in his positioning, just like Carrick was, just like
Mm,
yeah, just like Matic. I wanted Matic to stay, and look at the state we're in. If we wanted
yeah,
to play with the ball, I think Matic is better on the ball than Casemiro.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
slow.
He is. He is.
Yeah,
He is. Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
he's slower. Maybe he doesn't tackle. His defensive positioning isn't as good.
Mm,
Look at the state we're in. We could have done with him.
yeah. I agree. Agree. If I had known what the midfield would turn out to be now, I think obviously Kobe Minu is actually saved the manager's career. I think so far.
Yeah,
Because if
Kobe.
Kobe Minu wasn't there, I'll dread to think what midfield would be happening. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, I agree, man. I think Matic, in terms of his experience as well, would have been good.
exactly.
Um,
It's not even
but
that I
yeah,
want him.
now, yeah,
It's not even
it's
that I want him to come back or anything. It's just I want
yeah,
someone that is of the right age, of the right
mm.
skill set. I don't want us to go and get like I don't know what you think about Anana from Everton, but I'm not. It doesn't move me that signing. To be fair,
You know what? Yeah, it's if I'm honest, we're scraping the barrel. That's how bad it is. Because I think Onana's a decent player, but it's
exactly.
just we're only saying Onana because there's no one else, and it's a massive problem in football. You know?
I think he's a decent player, like you said, and
Yeah,
that's basically what it is, which is not good. Decent is not
yeah.
good in the state we're in.
I think where we missed the trick is Chelsea. I mean, they got Enzo and Caicedo and Romeo
Enzo,
Lavia. You know,
yeah,
they've got their midfield sorted for me.
Enzo.
And then it took
What do you feel about Enzo? I'm sorry, I cut you off there.
go on. So
I was asking, what do you feel about Enzo Fernandez?
top player. I
Yeah,
mean,
same.
the thing is, like, we're probably going to agree a lot of players because we see football the same way. And
Exactly.
Enzo, you know, you hear a lot of people say Enzo's not good enough, but Enzo's a pure footballer. And I believe under Enzo Maresca, you know, I believe he's going to make him the core of the team in terms of building a play through him, I believe. And what I don't understand is why Pochettino, he's playing Caicedo and Enzo the wrong way around. Because
Yeah.
Caicedo's skill set is a box-to-box midfield crasher in a sense, you know?
Hmm.
And Enzo is a deep line playmaker for me. So where Pochettino saw Enzo as a box-to-box and Moises
I said,
Caicedo as a deep line playmaker, I have to understand what he's seeing there. And to make it even worse, he's playing Conor Gallagher as a 10.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Because when people see someone strong, they think he has to be defensive, for example.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, no, that's not how it is. That's not how it
Mm.
is. Enzo Fernandez, yeah, I agree with you. I
Do you
think
like him,
if
yeah?
one player from Chelsea that I would sign would probably be him.
Yeah, yeah.
Him. I like Caicedo.
Sorry, what do you like about him, about Enzo?
he's just a pure midfield player. I
Mm.
love that. Good control of the ball, good passing and short passes. Short passes, a good shot on him, good reading of the play.
Yeah.
Argentinian as well. Like he has some bite about him. Like
He's
there's
got that
something
fire about him. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. He does. He has some pride about him. He's like he doesn't allow shit from others. I like that. Like Lisandro Martinez, we're a different team with Lisandro. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
because he has that thing about him that's like, yeah, I'm not taking shit from no one, and I like
Mm.
that.
Mm.
And Enzo is that level of maturity and skill set. What is he? 21, 22,
Yeah, I think he
maybe
must be about
20
22. Yeah, I think he's 22. Yeah, he's 22.
for a midfield player. This is a position that peaks later on. It's not like wingers. The wingers you can have a very very good winger at 18, 19.
Mm.
Midfield player to control tempo. Like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. He always
Yeah.
plays with his head up, look for a short pass, has a
Yeah.
good through ball as well if needed. But I like short passes. I like
Keeping it
Amrabat.
simple. Mm.
Exactly. Amrabat does it. Just you make a short pass and then you make yourself available and then you make a short pass and all of a sudden it's fascinating, but it happens all the time. Some space, some sort of space gets created because
Yeah.
football has changed a lot in the last 20, 30 years in the way the same goals are achieved. Because at
Mm.
the end of the day, you score more than the opposition and concede less. And how do you do that? You create space and you block space.
Yeah.
And the ways to achieve that is what changed, but the principles are the same. So if you create space and you have players that create space, you are a lucky man as a manager. Like you
Mm.
need to value those things. Like Martial, for example, why does he have always more time than the other?
Mm.
Because he
Fo-
reads the game very well.
Football
Berbatov,
intelligence. Mm.
exactly. Berbatov is not quick. Berbatov was walking all the time. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Carrick,
Yeah.
people thought that Carrick wasn't quick until they saw him race Aguero, but just he never had to sprint.
Yeah. No. 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 I fully understand what you're saying, man. It's
I love those players. I love them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's weird because I think everyone just expects every player to just be running 100 mile an hour. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
understand that mindset at all. You know, the best players don't move. Look at Messi. You know.
exactly. Exactly. But if he sprints with the ball at his feet, well, good luck.
There
You
you
can't
go.
have that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Mm.
like Sancho, people think Sancho isn't quick, and then they saw the goal in preseason against Arsenal, and he
Mm.
raced Gabriel, I think, or something. He's like, "Yo, Sancho's actually quick." Yeah, yeah, of course he's actually quick.
Mm.
He's a good footballer, so he doesn't have to sprint all
I
the
have to use
time.
his pace all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
that's but this is the problem. This is where the game's gone. You know.
The game's gone, to be fair.
Yeah, the game's finished, man. I want to ask you quickly as well. Yeah. Um, Jude Bellingham. What's your take on Jude Bellingham?
I think he's a good player that's overrated.
Okay.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Like, but
Yeah.
to be fair, again, I haven't watched much of Jude.
Okay.
For example, I'll give you something else. I don't rate Mbappe that highly. Let's put it that way.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
So for Jude Bellingham, I think he's a good player. I've seen like Rance is a good friend of mine as well, and he
Mm.
does, he doesn't rate Jude. He call him Belaney, which I think is fucking funny, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
maybe he's hard. But I tend to agree with Rance on so many things that I need to
Mm.
have a closer look, and then I'll see, and then I'll make my
Yeah.
own mind. But I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
I don't think he should win the Ballon d'Or. I don't think he's the best or second best player in that Madrid team. I think if
Mm.
I had to pick, I think Modric is still better.
Mm.
Vinicius is class. I think Vinicius is the real deal. You could
Yeah.
Rodrigo. I like Rodrigo as well. I think he's class.
Rodrigo's a top player, man. He is.
Exactly. Chouameni and Camavinga are top players as well. So you could
Yeah.
make a case for all of those players ahead of Jude. Just Jude
Yeah.
scores a lot of goals and he's English, so we get a lot more of. Because if Jude was not English, the news wouldn't get reported as much because Vinicius
Yeah.
is 10 times a player. To be fair.
Well, this is the thing, like, because you mentioned Rance as well. Yeah. Now, for me, I can see why he says the Belaney. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see why he says that, and I think with Bellingham is his game is based on his athleticism. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And he's gone to Spain where it's a very technical game out there, but his
Yeah.
athleticism will shine a lot more. For me, the hype is way over the top. You know, he's a passion merchant as well, and it feeds into a lot of especially the English media. It feeds a lot of them. You know,
Yeah.
and I think which is why Ancelotti is a top manager because Ancelotti knows as a midfielder, Bellingham's not better than Camavinga, Chouameni, Cruz, Modric, Valverde. they're all on the ball. They're all more composed than him, all more reliable with the ball. So because Real Madrid don't have a striker, they play with the split strikers come widemen in Vinny and Rodrigo. So Burnham's playing as like the fake striker in a sense to
Looks like a
utilize
diamond.
his a diamond, yeah.
Looks like,
Similar to what he done with AC Milan, but Kaká was playing behind two actual strikers in Shevchenko and Crespo.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he was actually at the number 10 that was breaking from deep. Whereas Burnham's playing a similar role, but he's actually the striker, whereas them two, Vinny and Rubio, come as wide men, you know?
Yeah. Wide men and number 10s-ish. They create.
Yeah, to create. So I think he's being utilized by Ancelotti in that way. But the problem is now, obviously, Mbappe's been, I think he's been agreed today anyway, yeah? So when Mbappe comes in, it's going to be interesting because Mbappe doesn't play in the front two.
No.
He can't replace Vinny, yeah?
No. I think Mbappe could play in the front two if he had a real target man next to him.
Like Giroud.
Giroud, exactly, someone like that. Yeah.
But my thinking is that you've got Vinny who has to play, who play on the left. So Rodrigo, for me, I think he has to play. So if he's on the right, which means Mbappe goes through the middle. So it means that Burnham's role changes now because Burnham can't play the role of the fake nine because Mbappe will be there. Yeah. And then if he drops back, he's not better than the actual midfielders that we've mentioned. Plus, you've got Arda Güler coming through, who's a top player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Güler, yeah. Even Brahim Diaz, I think, is fine.
Brahim Diaz as well, another one. So
you know what? I think you're making a good point. The Jude, just to defend Jude, because I think some of the praise is over the top. I agree with you. I think some of the criticism as well. But I need, you know what? I need to watch more. I'm not the one to just follow trends. I need to watch more of him.
Yeah.
But to be fair to Jude, he's done well also in Bundesliga. He's doing well, numbers perspective, also in Spain. He's highly rated. So at least he doesn't feel sorry for himself. At least he's out there. He left the country and he's done well for other clubs in other leagues. And I have to respect that. Just like Mbappe, for example. I'm not the biggest Mbappe fan, but the performance in the World Cup to go into the final, Patrick, I said, you know what? Mentality is different. So I have to respect that. But I need the skill set. I'm not moved, but I think he's a fine player. But we'll see. But like we said, but you know what? Mbappe thinks to Madrid. I agree with you, man. And I was talking with friends about this like a few weeks and months ago, like ever since the news came out. I was like, how is it going to work? Because, and I was chatting with Rance about this on the show, and I said, if you tell me which player is better, Haaland or Mbappe, I think Mbappe is probably the more gifted footballer. If I have to pick one, I'm picking Haaland for my team. I think it's easier for me.
You know what? I think if you look at Real Madrid's team, Haaland would work better in the system they have now.
Yeah, 100%. This is why I think Mbappe is probably is the better footballer out of him and Haaland. However, Haaland is a number 9. Like there are no doubts about where he plays. My problem with Mbappe is what do you think is his actual position? Because he reminds me a bit of Rashford.
So he is Rashford. Let's be honest. He's just Rashford with probably slightly better PR. You know what I mean?
Final form Rashford.
Final form Rashford. There you go. But I think for me, like out of the three of them, if Vinny's better than both of them, in my opinion. He's better than both Haaland and Mbappe. Mbappe for me, Mbappe for me has to play on the left. And I think because Real Madrid dominate the ball, him playing as the central striker could work. But the problem is he's going to be drifting over to the left a lot of the time. Because I think when they play against the top teams in Champions League, he's not someone that's going to be able to hold the ball up, you know? No. And you might see a lot of him swapping places with Vinny and Vinny just going where he wants and Mbappe just trying to get on the ball from the left. Exactly. I think the dynamic between Vinny and Mbappe, in hindsight, well, not hindsight, sorry, in FIFA, it will work, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I've got my reservations because I don't think Rodrigo should be the full guy, in my opinion.
Oh,
and I can't see them playing a front two of Vinny and Mbappe and keeping
something has to give in. Exactly, and something has to give in.
Yeah, 100%.
Probably Jude would have to be the one to take the hit if they are going to play with a front two because You
Yeah.
need midfield players. You need
Yeah.
stability. You need a basis. Like you
Mm.
can't do like we are doing now. You play Vinicius, Mbappe, Giroud, and you
Yeah.
play one guy and you expect him to defend the entire pitch. That's not how it
It ain't
works.
gonna happen. Yeah.
It ain't gonna
I
happen,
guess
man.
against the lower teams, you might get away with it, but Champions League, I can't see them playing with those four altogether. Obviously, you got young Endrick coming through as well, but he's gonna be more of a development
Yeah, I
striker.
forgot about him as well.
Yeah, he's coming through. I think they're looking to try and get Alphonso Davies as well. You know,
Yeah.
they're trying to build a super team there. If I'm honest, it's
And a young super team, which is a bit
yeah,
scary to be fair.
yeah,
Because,
yeah,
well, you know what you said about Mbappe probably drifting to the left and going to the same areas as Vinicius, because the other profiles are going to go probably to the same areas on the pitch.
mm,
Champions League or against top La Liga teams, from a tactical perspective, it's easy to set up for them. You can predict their behavior. You can say,
yeah,
you know what, block that area, jam this, or follow this guy, and you can neutralize them quite easily,
yeah,
I think. And also, if you have someone like Mbappe, his main thing is space.
mm.
He's not the most gifted player. Yeah, of course he is and has a good finish and he's good, but
Electrical pace. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, exactly. So you need someone to make a good ball through
yeah.
all the time, or you need
You
Cruz
know,
to do.
you know what I was gonna say as well. Yeah, but our Cruz is actually retiring, isn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what I was gonna say as well. Yeah, I was thinking because when I watched Brazil versus England, the friendly. If you check where Rodrigo played as a false nine. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the front three they had Vinny, Rodrigo, and I think it was Rafinha.
Okay.
And then at the time I was thinking, well, where's Rodrigo going to play? And he played as a false nine. So I'm thinking for Real Madrid, they could play Rodrigo as a false nine. But the problem is now, because of Mbappe's profile, his mentality and the way he is won't allow him to play on the right no more. Because if you check it, when he first came through for France, he was on the right. Because it was him on the right, Giroud up top, and on the left was what was his name? Thomas
Coman.
Lemar or something like that. What
Oh,
was
for
it?
Monaco, you mean, or for France?
So when he first come through at France,
Yeah.
he was in the World Cup when they beat in the final.
2018, that
Pogba scored in the final.
Croatia.
Croatia, that's the one. Mbappe actually played from the right hand side.
Yeah. And
So
who
when
was
he
on the
first come into the France team, he was playing on the right hand side. Yeah. Oh, it was Blaise Matuidi.
Matuidi? Exactly. They played with
Matuidi.
Matuidi, Kante,
Yeah.
Pogba, and Griezmann in
And
midfield.
Kante, Pogba, Griezmann, and Giroud.
It,
So
it
Mbappe
felt
played
a
on the
bit like
right.
a diamond-ish again.
Yeah, it was more. I think what they were doing, because Matuidi is a centre midfield player, but he was
Exactly.
more there for the protection, and
And on the
then they
left.
focused their play on that right hand side with Mbappe.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. You're right.
but I
Absolutely.
think what happens now, he could play on that right hand side, but because of the profile of him now, I think he'll be too ignorant to say, "Look, I'll play there for the team." He'll be expected to play on the left hand side, in my opinion.
You think so? You think he would? Because
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah. I
arrogant.
think so. Yeah, because I can't see him being like, okay, Vinny, you play on left hand side. I think he probably thinks in his head he's a bigger profile than Vinicius Junior.
Yeah, but you know what? This is the thing I like about Real Madrid is that they are
Yeah,
going. They are not taking shit from no one.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Because your PSG,
I rate
United
that.
you can do it,
Yeah.
but
Mm,
uh, for Fiorentino Perez and Carlos Ancelotti, and it's like, look, man, we two
yeah.
Champions League in 3 years.
Mm,
You didn't win any, so if if we put you on the right, we put you on the right, and you play for the team.
I
Because
agree.
look,
I
we
agree.
succeeded without you when we beat you, so just.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But I'm curious because I don't see how it works. I think the profile of players that Mbappe is problematic as a profile. You know
Mm,
what? Exactly, like if they had the Giroud, for example, but the thing is that they have too much talent up front,
yeah, yeah,
and it's too many players there because you
yeah,
can't ask Giroud to play deep like in the midfield too. I don't think you
yeah.
get the best out of his skill set, and
Mm.
they spend lots of money on him. And Camavinga and Tchouaméni, I think, are class.
Yeah, listen, for me, I think they're the future of midfield at the moment,
Yeah,
especially for France. I think Camavinga's very underrated in my opinion.
yeah, he's good.
He's a top player, and obviously Cruz and Modric they're the experience heads, but Valverde can play more from the right. He's
I like
more
Valverde. I like
he's
him.
good, but I think he might be more of a squad player. I think,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
what a squad player to have. Yeah,
Exactly. He's their McTominay. I wish we had that. Like he's basically their McTominay,
Yeah, no, well, yeah, exactly,
and
exactly.
that's brilliant.
Um,
What's a good McTominay to have?
yeah, but I think someone like Arda Güler, you know, I've watched Güler a few times, and I think he's gonna like he's reminiscent of Ozil as well, the way he plays. He's gonna
You
find
know
it
what?
hard to try and get him because obviously their midfield stacked. But I think he could get more game time next season.
And you know
I
what? They're
believe.
going to experiment and they're going to see what works best, and they will
Yeah,
just pick the winning side. Because if you
yeah.
look at the team, they when they won the Champions League back to back to back, like they
Mm.
basically Isco, they had Bale on the bench, they had legends on the bench.
Isco,
So
another top player. Yeah,
you know what? That I think he had a very good season in La Liga as well. Like
he
I've
did.
seen
He was going to
clips,
go
yeah.
to the Euros, but he got injured.
Because that's another class player, man.
Yeah, yeah,
That's another one that you know what? If people say I would take Isco and Griezmann now, if for
of,
Bruno, like
of
I
course,
would do the
of
trade
course.
swap, and I would give
Yeah,
him money on top of it. That's another type of player.
yeah,
I think Isco
yeah.
with the injuries maybe, but this
Mm.
is the thing I like with Madrid, and this is what good teams and winning team they what they do is just they have quality. They buy only starters, and the one
Mm.
that do well are the one
They
that
start.
start exactly, and the others go to the bench. Because now the thinking we have at United at the moment is like we need someone for the bench. So you basically say that we need someone that is not as good as those starting, but just better than those on the bench, which makes zero sense
How
at
do
all.
you improve? Yeah, how do you improve?
Improve. Because you
Mm.
think this starting 11 is good. So we need someone that is not as good as Garnacho, but just a bit better than Pelistri. Like, yeah, come on now. Let's not take let's not take the piss, yeah.
Yeah, I listen. I don't get that thinking. You know, at the end of the day, you just go and buy what the best is available, and then
Exactly.
those guys that replace him become bench players or they move on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
You like players if the team plays well, then
mm.
if the team win
Yeah,
and you get the big trophies, players will want to come and sit on the bench and say, you know what, I'm fighting. Because if it's fair, if you have someone like a team like City, for example, or Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. And if they manage to put someone like Mbappe on the bench, or someone like Mahrez on the bench, or someone like Kevin De Bruyne on the bench, if
mm.
you're another player, say, you know what, this is a fair place. Like if I do well, I will play because the manager is fair and he looks for the team first. At the
Yeah,
moment, if you're a United player, I can play as good as I can. I'm
yeah.
not getting the chance because Bruno and Rashford should not have been starting from the
Mm.
start of the season until February, to be fair. Like they've been
Yeah.
shocking the entire season.
Do you
And
think? Do you think? Sorry. Do you think there's things going on in the behind the scenes as to
it has to.
why you reckon?
Yeah, it has to because that's the only it's the only plausible explanation. Or the manager is dumb to that level. But that's an extreme level of stupid.
Yeah.
Because how can you not see it?
Mm.
Rashford, for example, he said, we're going to play him until he finds his form. And now, sometimes the right thing to do for a player to find his form is to rest
Take
him.
him at the firing line. Yeah.
Exactly. Let him watch the
Mm.
game from the bench to see, to have a bit of distance with it. It happens all the time in everything. Like, for example, I play chess
Mm.
and I'm amateur level. Like, I'm not that good, but I
Mm.
played like tournaments and here and there. And
Okay.
sometimes when I play too much, like, sometimes I just need to take like a month not playing. And then I
Mm.
come back and it just clear. My calculation is clearer. My thinking is
Yeah.
clearer. Same thing happens with work. Like we need vacation in a year. Why?
Yeah.
Because we need to take a bit of distance because sometimes things get too much.
You get into bad habits, I suppose. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
exactly. Like for example,
Mm.
Garnacho, I'm not liking his trajectory because I think if there is a good player there, we are
Yeah.
doing everything we can to wreck the talent.
Yeah.
He needs to be taken out of the.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I don't think he's good at all. No, no. I'll tell you straight. Like
I
I
was
don't think he's
expecting
good at
that.
all.
I mean,
Yeah. I just you know what it is. Yeah. Because I've watched football for too long for me to be for people to tell me that he's good. I think what they like about him is that he shows intent with the ball, you know, and that's the only thing.
exactly.
You know, you hear like he's 19 and he can improve, but Man United is meant to be an elite club. Like
Exactly. It's not a charity,
you're
is
meant
it?
to be at that age, as you mentioned with Rooney, you're meant to be at that age ready. And it's like
Man,
with Kobe Minu, we don't mention his age because he displays a constant quality. You know what I mean?
maturity
And
about his game.
maturity about his game. Yeah, and
Exactly.
yeah, for me, whenever I see Garnacho starting, like it angers me because you know if he's playing as an impact sub and having an impact, by all means, but you're
Exactly.
starting him every week, and it's like it's not going to get better. And then
No,
you have people saying Real Madrid are going to come in for him. Real Madrid are never going to come in for him.
they have a problem fitting Mbappe into the team, and you're chatting about Garnacho. It makes zero sense, does it?
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
don't know
Another
where they
thing
get these
about,
people from, seriously.
man, I just another thing about the
Mm.
manager that is shocking is players like Martial, Sancho, and Ahmad are players that need to start the game and they grow into the game.
Game, yeah.
They are not players that you bring off later on in the game to have
And
an
then try and
impact.
get the pace of it. Yeah.
Exactly. They are not that type of player. They are players that just grow and create an environment. They create a vibe in the game. Short passes, and then all of a sudden you need 10, 15 minutes, and then you can see the game is starting to take some shape. Players like Garnacho and Rashford, they are more impact players. And if they were coming on coming on later on in games,
It wouldn't
I'd
be as
be fine
bad.
with
Yeah.
it. Because it should be the other way around. Martial, Sancho should be playing, Ahmad should be starting, Rashford and Garnacho should come on later. And that would be fine because
Yeah.
later on games, tired legs,
Yeah.
the player has been watching the game, say, you know what, maybe this guy is a bit of a target. Maybe if I come on, I can target him. That's fine. That's fine. But it's not the game of the others. And this is just a complete misprofile for the manager, which is terrible, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
But this is just common sense. Like, yeah, their profile of the player they are should be coming on when it's tired legs to exploit their pace. You know what I mean? But I think what's happened now, especially with Man United, I think that people are not saying certain players should play because they have the right to play. It's become I've picked this player, and no matter what, I'm gonna use him against your player.
Yeah,
I've noticed that a lot, and it's like Man United's never been about that. It's just be the best players play.
exactly.
But I think people, especially with like a Garnacho, they're just trying to force him into the team without really thinking he's good enough. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Like I've seen
it's a shame.
people say that he's generational. I'm like, and I've seen him like people older than me say that. United fans that have been fans for 30
Yeah.
years. It's a generational Garnacho. Well, that means you were never watching. Basically, because at 19, Garnacho is not better than Rashford, Sancho, and Martial at 19. No way.
At that age. No
that
way.
age. No way.
I
He's
agree.
worse than all three of them. You can say he's worse than Januzaj at the same age.
Yeah. I agree.
So I'm not impressed. Like maybe he'll come good. I don't know. I'm not convinced about the talents, like you said. I don't mind him so far because I still have patience in the sense that I'm much more triggered by Rashford playing than by Garnacho at the moment because it's been too long. Because I don't like unjust things. Like this is my problem with Rashford. Is like he's been given too much without deserving much of it. And that everyone that has been playing, everyone that has been a direct threat to Rashford has had his career wrecked, if you look at it.
Yeah.
When Oli came in, people thought Rashford was a striker, so Lukaku got binned. I don't know how you feel about Lukaku. I'm just, as a striker, he's not
He's
necessarily
better than Rashford as a number 9, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no comparison. As a striker, he's not my type of striker necessarily. But we are talking about a guy that left the Premier League at 24, already having 100 Premier League goals. So if you base it on goals, then Lukaku is your pick. But when people thought that Rashford was a number 9, Lukaku was shit. When people thought, and then Martial came back into favor because Rashford was the 9 and Martial was on the left. And then swish, people said, no, Rashford.
They work well together, to be fair, him too.
Exactly. Yeah. But they work well together because of Martial. People work well with Martial.
He's unselfish. Yeah.
Exactly. He's the guy. And then people said, Rashford is a left wing, so Martial is the number 9. They didn't have a problem with that. But Martial had his career wrecked because of Rashford. Lukaku, you could say Anthony at the moment as well. Sancho as well, because Sancho, people say he should be playing on the right. I think Sancho is just that good that he could play on both sides. But he's much better than Rashford on the left. It's not even close. And I think he prefers to play on the left. So
he does, yeah. He does.
Exactly. So the moment he becomes competition to Rashford, he gets the same with Bruno. Donny van de Beek never had a career with the moment with Bruno in the team.
Even though, me personally, I don't know why they signed Donny in the first place, but the fact that Donny never got given a regular go when Man United were poor, it just shows you that the power that this Bruno has for some reason.
For some reason. Exactly. Some reason. They wanted Pogba had his career wrecked because of Bruno. One of the reasons people love Bruno that much is because they hate Pogba that much.
Yes.
It's the return of the balance. Like it's aimed against one that in favor of the other, to be fair.
I'll let you finish up, but I'm gonna go further than that as well.
Yeah, yeah, and Mata should have played more. I think Mata is 10 times the player Bruno will ever be, even at now. Like, it's not even close to me.
Yeah.
And Mata should have played more.
Mm.
And because of Bruno, he didn't. Mason Mount, I don't think I'm not his biggest fan. He should play. Of course, he's been injured. He should play more than that. I would put Ahmad in the 10 any day of the week before Bruno.
Yeah.
And just all the time, we keep going back in circles. But at the end of the day, all of those players are better than them, and they had their career wrecked or their trajectory like misfiring because of those players that
Those
are
two players.
inferior players. They're inferior players, not even close. But yeah, go back to what you were going to say.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say. So for like, because I pay a deep interest into these kind of things, and it's like the reason why Rashford's getting the problems now, yeah, is because Rashford's obviously from Wivenshaw, Manchester. So what's happened is that Martial and Pogba were getting the criticism because they're both obviously all three of them are black, but two of them are French. Rashford's English. So they were being used as the scapegoats to protect Rashford. Yeah. And when Pogba goes, obviously Martial hasn't been playing as much. Because if you look at the disrespect that Fred gets as well, and Eric Bailly got as well, it's because for me, there's a racial issue, I believe, at Man United. It's been going on for years. And what's happened now is that because obviously Sancho come through, and then Sancho's from London, they have a certain way about Londoners anyway. Yeah. So it's easy for them to kind of, hate on Sancho in a sense, but it's still to protect Rashford. Yeah. The fact that Ahmad's is still new to this, I would say. So he's a different case. Kobe's come through the youth system as well. The fact that Rashford's getting criticism now is because the new contract and because they're trying to push Garnacho. And although Garnacho is not English, he's white. You know what I mean? So, and this has been going on at Man United for ages because
And she's from the academy as well.
he's from the academy. Yeah. So what it is, Rashford's never been good enough, but he was getting leeway because they wanted to blame Pogba and Martial badly, and then now Sancho came through. Obviously, he's fallen out with Ten Hag, and now that Rashford has no one to lean on because Kobe's from the youth, Ahmad's has been on loan and is fairly new to it. He's got no one to lean on to, so it's like it's open season now to criticize him. But he's never been good enough. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, there is nothing new in this. Yeah. He's not playing better or worse. That's always been much. No, I agree. There are many layers. Like, are you English? Are you there's the race, there's the nationality, there's the academy. Those are the settings mostly. And then you get the right combination. If you're white, from the academy, if you're black, from the academy, if you're English but white, and then you just work it out how it is, and then you say that there's some sort of hierarchy in this. And usually the French players, they don't have a good reputation in England just because French and English people, they just don't get along somehow. It feels like, to be fair, like English don't respect French that much. I don't know if it has to be like, I think it's historical, to be fair, like it's deep down wars and stuff like that. They just don't rate them. Because
it's nonsense, man. Because they go to their country and take their players all the time. So, you know what I mean?
Because someone like Thierry Henry, if Henry was English, he'd be the greatest of all time.
You think?
to many.
Yeah.
Just, the fact that they are giving like Henry that much respect so later on compared to when he was in his prime, Pogba is different class. The abuse Martial gets for a player of his quality, I don't get it. Really. Because if Martial was English, they would look at other things. They wouldn't look at the goals. They would look, but look at how when he plays, we win more and we score more. And look at when he plays, Rashford scores more, and this and Bruno as well. How look when he doesn't play, we never get penalties. When he plays, we get penalties. But they are not having those conversations because he's French. He's not very loud.
He doesn't smile. Yeah. All that rubbish. Exactly. Yeah. They've made up their mind on him already. And I'll say a lot of the media and these journalists play a big part in it, making up lies and stuff like that. But yeah, for me, it's a shame that Martial's gone because like I was a massive fan of Martial. He had a Ballon d'Or in his clause in his contract for a reason. Even when he first come to England, I mean, if I'm right in saying, I don't think there was too many 19-year-olds that scored 17 in their first season coming from a different country. You
Exactly. He
know,
was class, man.
yeah, he was. He was. I mean, he's been failed by Man United, definitely. You know, obviously injuries you can't predict for that. I mean, obviously
And
Solskjaer played
injuries
a big,
are mostly Solskjaer, exactly. The more
yeah,
more
yeah.
recent.
But in terms of his quality is just there for all to see. And the
Yeah,
fact that
obviously.
he's been hounded at the club and the likes of your Rashford are still there, it can only be one thing. It's like they're just persisting with Rashford because of the whole English
Yeah.
um and
They,
the,
they
and the
they
academy.
want
Yeah,
they want Rashford to be something he isn't, and they want
he's not.
Rashford Martial to be something he isn't as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They want Rashford to be good. It's just like, yeah, but just look at the games and be honest. I don't care. It just doesn't
Mm,
have to be like they made their mind. Like I was talking about my dad. My dad noticed that quite a long time ago. He said some players are judged only on their good bits, and some players are judged only on their bad bits.
yeah.
And that is very, very good assessment because Rashford will play very, very badly for a long time, and then he'll go through a good week or 2 weeks or goals and this and
Mm,
that, and judge him only on that. Some other players will play well all the time, but then they will pick one bad performance and they will stick with that bad performance. And that's disgusting if we're being real. That
mm,
doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. It's not good. It's not fair. It's not honest. There's nothing good about it.
yeah. I agree. I agree, man. It's a massive problem, man. But I'm just hoping Man United going a new direction now. You know, some of the players are gone. But hopefully Ineos, I think Ineos for me, the first thing they got to do is get rid of this manager. I
Yeah.
believe he's gone anyway. You know, hopefully we
Yeah.
get some news tomorrow, and then I'm excited to see who they let go and who they sign. You know, and as I say, I think a lot of it's going to come down to do with the manager. You know, his philosophy. Um, yeah, so I'm just hoping that yeah, things change to be honest with you because
I hope
watching
so.
Man United is draining.
It's painful at the moment. It really
Yeah.
is. Really
Mm,
is. And I hope you're right, man, because
mm.
there's one thing that scares me. I hope they are not going all in just for British players. Ineos. That would scare me.
Do you know what? I don't know. I can't really see why they would. I mean, I know there's been reports. I mean, Jarrad Bramthwaite is going to cost 80 million.
Yeah,
Like he
he's
just walked away from that deal, you know. But in terms of because obviously they got to sign a certain amount of English players for the quota as well. But
yeah,
I'm
as
I'm
well.
just I'm just looking and I'm thinking if you want to go and get two English players that are at clubs that are gettable, for me it's Ivan Toney and Eze all day long.
Yeah,
If you look
yeah,
around the
Tony.
market, there's not many players of that level for them clubs.
Yeah.
Ross Barkley's on the free. You go and get Ross Barkley. You know what I mean? Add him to the squad. But I don't know what Man United have in store. You know, there've been links today. I think with Kudus
From West Ham.
and who sorry?
Kudus from West Ham or
Yeah, Kudus. Yeah, there's links today. Oh, and Matthias Cunha from Wolves.
yeah, from Wolves. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw
Yeah.
that.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind them, but my choices are Elise, Eze, and Tony. I think those three players there are essential to get. You know, Kudus is a good player for me, but I just think that's a speculation.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. He plays on the right as well.
yeah, reason I like why I want Elise is because Elise and Ahmad. I know Kudus is left-footed as well, but those two are creators first. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Inverted. Eze and Sancho for me because Eze can play in the 10, Sancho can play from the left, and then you've got Ivan Toney who's primed for a big move. And then I
Yeah,
look
exactly.
around, world football now, and I honestly can't tell you who there is to kind of that you can get really.
Yeah, I
Florian
don't.
Wirtz I want, but you can't get him.
He's too expensive, and he's no. He just no. I
Yeah,
agree. No, like I don't have much time as well to watch other leagues and stuff with uni and
yeah,
everything. So even that, even if they are players, I'm not looking that much.
yeah,
But no one really moves me, or I don't have any ideas. To be fair,
yeah.
Tony would be a good signing if you can get it from a good price. I
Mm,
think we could get it for a good price. I don't think it'd be too expensive.
yeah. I think 60
He's the
million
right
probably. Yeah,
60. Think so? Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I think if you're looking at anything above 60, again, you walk away. But then it's like, well, where you gonna go and who you gonna go and buy? Because
exactly. Who will we go
the
and make?
market's small. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. And
yeah,
and he's the right age as well.
yeah.
What is he like 28, something like
I
that?
think I think he's yeah, I think he's 27, 28. I think he might be, yeah. So
So
he's
that's fine. That's fine. And he's fit as well. So it's not like he's slowing
yeah,
down necessarily. Like he looks in good shape. So
yeah.
because I'm a bit fed up of the only 20-year-old I would go for is probably Sesko, but I'm not really into for young
Yeah,
strikers, like 2 20-year-old up front. Nah.
yeah, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that. You know what
And
I
if we
mean?
were to go for Sethko, we never should have got Hoyland.
Yeah, yeah. It's got to be one or the other. Or I like Dovbik. You know, from Girona.
Yeah. I've
I
heard of
think
him,
he's
but
good.
I heard of
Yeah,
him.
he's
Never.
yeah. No, he's good. He's good. It's just that he's more or less the same kind of profile as Holland as Hoyland.
Okay.
And Hoyland's obviously got more pace than him, but he's left-footed as well. I like Joshua Zirkzee. I think he's good from Bologna.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks good. But again, there's the market is and this is why I wanted Martial to stay because the market ain't there. You know, Victor
Yeah.
Osimhen's not good enough for
Yeah. I'm not
me.
doing.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, yeah, there's not really much. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
I don't know, to be fair,
we've got
because
Vitor Roque who wants to move, but he's young as well. You know,
people talking about Watkins as well, but he would cost a lot of money.
yeah, I don't know if I want Watkins to be honest. I think he's a good striker for the league, but I think this is Man United. Man United should be
Yeah.
signing, you know, players that I believe should be one of the top players in their position in the world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, or in the league. You know what I
I
mean?
hear it.
But yeah, we have to wait and see, man. But any questions for me? Any questions for
Yeah.
me?
Not too much because I have to leave in a
Yeah.
few minutes as well. But are
Yeah.
you based in Manchester as well?
No. I'm based in well, I'm based in Essex. You know Essex?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm from an area called Essex, county called Essex. So yeah, man, I've lived there more or less my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I
yeah,
think we are about the same age, aren't we? Or just about.
I'm actually 37.
What you said? I, you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
I wouldn't guess
37,
it.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it all the time. I had someone the other day like ask me, they thought I was like 25, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have
Um,
given you my age. I'm 20. I just turned 29 in April, so I was like maybe
okay.
32, between maybe 29 and 32, I would say.
Yeah, I wish. But yeah, no, 30, I turned 37 January. Yeah.
Okay,
So
nice.
but yeah, man, I say I work as a personal trainer in that as well.
Okay,
Yeah, so my background is actually football. So I
okay,
played
okay.
for so there's I'm saying to you about rant. So what's actually funny is that I was at Chelsea and Tottenham in their
Okay,
academy. Yeah, and two of the guys that were at Chelsea at the time are actually friends with Rance. Yeah,
okay.
so I remember one time when I was watching one of Rance's streams. He told me the area that he's actually from. I said I remember two of the boys' names, and I measured it in his live chat, and he responded saying, yeah, they're two of his guys, kind of thing. So, but yeah, no, yeah, I played football literally my whole life. I play now. I play like five-a-side now. You
Yeah,
know what I
that's nice.
mean?
Thing. Like, we don't have much football here. Like,
Oh, really?
I don't have a bit, but mostly in Montreal. And I don't live in Montreal. My brother's in Montreal, but we don't.
Okay.
And with school and everything, but I
Yeah.
don't have the thing that annoys me the most is I don't have people to speak and talk about football. Like this is
Okay.
why I like going on streams and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to talk about football with people that love football, and I don't have that much. I have my brother
Mm.
and my dad. So at the end of the day, like it's not the
Yeah.
same. Not the same. So
I actually went to a wedding yesterday. Yeah. And literally for the hour, I got talking to some guys who are Arsenal fans, and we was debating for an hour about certain things. And my partner, she was angry, man. Like, but
yeah,
when I get into it, man, I can't stop. You know, it's just
exactly.
one of them things. I just love talk about football all day.
And when you're a
You know?
fan, it's just you're a fan. You can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't help it, man. It's just
Yeah.
and I went to the UK last summer. I went to Old
Okay.
Trafford the first time in May. Like
Yeah.
the game against Wolves, like it was brilliant. Like there was 22
Mm.
degrees, sunshine in Manchester,
Yeah.
3 p.m. kickoff.
Mm.
Martial, Sancho, Anthony starting. Rashford was injured. I saw Varane in the flesh and Casemiro. 2-0 win against Wolves. Like a brilliant day. Like my,
Yeah.
my first game at Old Trafford, and I like Martial scores. I like,
Yeah.
yeah, come
Oh,
on.
that wasn't the game where Wolves should have won, was it?
But no. The one in it was May, like the last game, the last 3 games of last season. Ten Hag's first season, like Garnacho scored on his return from
Oh,
injury,
yes, I remember. I remember. Yeah, I
and
remember.
that goalkeeper had an absolutely brilliant game. Like he made
Yeah.
so many saves and that,
Okay.
and I loved
So
it.
what your first time going?
Yeah, exactly. My first time in
Okay.
Manchester, my first time at Old Trafford as well. So that was.
Yeah. Good
I love
experience.
England to be fair. I love England. I spent a week in London and a few days in Manchester. This was my second time in the UK,
Okay.
and I just love everything about it to be fair. Because my
What
dad He's a teacher, English literature, that's his thing. And he's a
Mm.
world specialist on William Shakespeare. So I grew up with everything British at home without never ever setting foot in so it just
Yeah.
everything at home is British all the time. Like I watch Downton Abbey twice, Line of Duty, and I watch United. So it's just
You know what? I gotta try and get onto that line of duty actually.
yeah, it's good. It's good. I
Is it
like
good?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I've
Is
got a
that
few things I'm trying to go into. Red Eye. Have you seen Red Eye?
no, I
One
don't
called
think.
Red Eye, which is quite a new series. Yeah,
Nah, I didn't watch that. I don't know that.
yeah. I want to try and get onto that as well. But yeah, man, that's loads of series out that I love watching series, man. That's my thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun. Like, it takes the edge off a bit at the end of the day, just
yeah.
before starting the new day. But yeah, man, it
Mm,
just and that's the thing with the you know what that struck me because like I told you, like where I come from, it's mostly North American sports. So it's NBA, NFL, and hockey, NHL.
okay.
So football fans we know between us, or at least in my area. But going to
Mm.
London, like people with big jackets of West Ham, it's like I never saw a West Ham jacket in my life. A
Yeah,
big or a Fulham hat or something. Just yeah, this
yeah,
is brilliant. Football is everywhere, and I love that.
yeah. It's massive out here, man. To be fair, you know, a lot of divides with the teams and stuff like that. Obviously, because my team I should be following is West Ham,
Mm.
really. Obviously, because of where I live, but I support Man United because they were the first team that I watched on TV. They beat
Okay, yeah,
Wimbledon.
that was my next question actually. Why United? Yeah.
Yeah. They were the first team I watched on TV against Wimbledon. They won the game, and then since from there, I just started following them. You know, the likes of Andy Cole, Dwight York, Eric Cantona, Ken
Yeah, yeah.
Chelsea, Giggs. Yeah, it was. Those were the times, you know, where United were at their best. You know,
At the
Sir Alex
top.
in charge, and then obviously we have to deal with now. So when I
Exactly.
see certain players, you know, I'm just
I
not
can't have
turning.
that. Exactly.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
can't
have
have
that.
it, man. I can't.
And
Can't.
who was
But
your last question? Who was your first favorite player, for example? Both United and
my
Globe.
my my so my favorite player is
Your
R9.
first R9.
R9's
Yeah.
my guy, man. Yeah, to this day, I've not seen a better striker than him. And the closest player to him was Karim Benzema, and that's because Benzema modeled his game on R9
Yeah, I'm
in
a
his
big
younger stages. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I'm a big
but
fan of Benzema as well. And R9 is just he's
yeah,
different. Different. It's very hard to describe R9.
yeah.
I think
He's
so.
you know what it is. Yeah, someone like him with his build and that wasn't meant to do what he was doing in football.
Like,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
A striker should not have that close of a relationship with the ball. It
Yeah,
was too good. Too good.
yeah.
Benzema class as well.
Benzema's class, man. Ronaldinho is my guy. Messi, Ronaldinho, Messi, R9, and Neymar.
Yeah. I think my
Yeah,
first favorite player, I think, is because my dad is a United fan, so I grew up watching
yeah.
United games. David Beckham and Ronaldinho, probably at the same time.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Becks was my guy when I was young. My first shirt was a Beckham one. And
Beckham.
Ronaldinho, of course, online. And then from that, you
Mm.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
Beckham really, where he's brought up ain't too far from me, where I used to live. So Beckham was brought up in an area called Chingford, and I used to live literally about 10, 15 minutes from there.
that's sick.
Yeah. But Beckham, man, he's you know what? Everything he's got in life, he deserved, man. That
Yeah,
guy worked
yeah,
hard. Yeah,
exactly. With class. He looks like a humble guy as well.
yeah. Down to earth guy, man.
Exactly. And I don't know if you've watched the documentary on Netflix or on Bex, but
You know, I haven't seen that actually. No, good.
it brought me to tears, man, to be fair. I was like, is
Seriously.
this, yeah, you know what? Because the season we had and the last seasons we've had, it's very
Yeah,
difficult to like United at the moment. We watch it because we're fans and we love the club
yeah.
and we want the best. But then you watch the documentary and you say, you know what, this club is something, yeah, it's great. We follow a great club, great
Mm,
tradition, great players of the past. That's why, like again, going back to what you said, I can't accept the current state of it because of the past. I can't. But and everything, like there's nothing new if you're a United fan in that documentary. It's just that it's well done. It's well, you have insight and going back to the red card in the World Cup in '98, all the abuse and the smoke he got
yeah,
and how to cope with it. And then he
yeah.
comes back to win the treble that season. He
Mm.
finished like third or fourth in the Ballon d'Or. It's like, yeah, this is what
Mentality. Yeah.
exactly. I don't have much sympathy for Rashford and the likes. You just seen it.
Yeah. It's a different era now, though, isn't it? So it's like, you know, they're more mollycoddled, I think. Whereas,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
Beckham,
so.
obviously, they was getting, I think they hanging stuff from
Yeah, from a bar
up to,
or something. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, he's deserves everything he's got, man, Beckham. And as I said to you, like he was a wide player in the era of no pace when he had no pace.
Exactly.
But his ability was that top, you know.
Work rate, ability, could put a ball in. What's a cross?
Where you
Nice.
went.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I love him. I love him.
yeah. Nah, good man. But nah, man, I will say, man, pleasure for you coming on, man. You know, you got,
Pleasure's
like
all
I said to
mine.
you before, man, like, you know, you're intelligent guy, man. Whenever
Appreciate
you
that.
put your tweets on, you know, I always watch and I think, you know what, this guy knows what he's talking about. And
Thank you.
you stick to your
Appreciate it.
opinions, man, which, no, big up, man.
Love. We do that
Hopefully again, man, we can
another
have
time.
another chat again, man, when you're
Yeah,
free.
of course,
Yeah.
100%. Hit me up anytime, and if I can, so if I can, I
Yeah.
will join. I like
Yeah, I
having this
appreciate it.
always. Though, don't worry, man. Do not hesitate anytime.
No, I appreciate that, man. What I'm gonna do as well, I'm gonna upload this onto my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want anything to shout out?
No, man, just pick up yourself, and like I don't have I don't have a platform of my own, so it just
Okay.
I come in, I come out, like it
Yeah.
just
Are you too busy? Is that why?
yeah, exactly. Uni is taking a lot of time and everything. So,
Okay.
but maybe in the future, I'm trying to work something out with my brother. I think we would start something together.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's busy as well. He works.
Mm.
He's still at school as well. So
Okay.
it's a difficult, and also the time zones. Like we can't
Yeah.
go live, for example, for mostly it's UK based or worldwide, not necessarily in
Yeah.
our area. So, but we'll work something out. Like
Yeah.
I'm does this thing.
No,
Not
get yourself on it, man. You'll do well, man. You say your football opinions are good, man. So
appreciate that, man. Thank you very
yeah, but
much.
no, as I said, man, appreciate you coming on. And I say, yeah, when you're free, man, I'll hit you up and we'll try and get
Yeah,
another stream going. Yeah.
100%,
All
100%,
right,
man.
man. Have a good week, yeah.
Cheers, my bro. You too.
Take it easy, man.